All right. Happy Monday evening. Happy December. How we doing, Naz?
It's good.
Good. If you're noticing watching live, you will see that we are missing one. Diego is feeling a little under the weather, as we all have, honestly, the last 3 weeks it seems. Yeah. But
I'm just coming out of it.
He's starting to lose his voice a little bit, so he's got to rest the pipes for the busy week and for festive season. Obviously, we have a ton of games coming up this week, as well as for Diego and upstairs, we're heavy into our holiday season, so lots of
parties,
Christmas parties, holiday parties, work things, charity events, the whole nine. So, how was your weekend?
It was good. I mean, I had a 4-day weekend essentially, thanks to Thanksgiving and Black Friday, and it was good. It was got to rest and relax. While Dee went out shopping, I got to hang out and spend time.
Well, that is good to hear. Sorry, I'm just looking through some ad stuff. I don't know why. That happened once before, where we ran our ads before and it's still popping up. So we may have a little bit of a funky layout for today's show. We might have some odd ad breaks, but rest assured we'll get through it. I was here most of the weekend with soccer. Some very tough results.
Yeah.
For most of my teams. I did have one victory, which we'll allude to a little bit later. But yeah, the weather, we're starting to get into the cold season.
Yeah.
You got something?
I did take my kids to see Zootopia 2. I haven't seen it yet. It was really good.
I have not. I
as good as the first.
I was a big fan of the first one.
It has officially broken the record. It is the 4th largest movie ever released. It has made the most money for
Already? Wow.
Yeah, already. And it was its first weekend.
My older daughter went to see Wicked. I don't think it's just Wicked 2, but whatever the... Yeah, there you go. She loved... 2.5 hours. I don't know. I mean, again, I'm the kind of guy that can watch 7 straight hours of soccer games, but I can barely even watch a half-hour TV show. So... that's a tough one.
It earned $556.4 million.
That is
in its opening weekend.
That's wild.
Crazy for a movie that you never really thought would take off. It's interesting.
No, for sure on my end. I have a remote control in my pocket. I'm like, what is hitting me? Let's try to get right through it. Maybe we can at least cover, the Premier League before our ad break.
Yeah.
So we'll jump right into one of the first games we had this weekend. Sunderland hosting Bournemouth. Bournemouth have been struggling of late. We thought, this was a winnable road match for them. They had a tough result last week against West Ham. Areola played out of his mind to preserve that 2-2 draw. And this one, Sunderland 3, Bournemouth 2. Despite Bournemouth being up 2-0 after just 15 minutes.
Yes.
And I for once, I hate to be proven right. I think Bournemouth were so good early in the season that was kind of unexpected. This is probably where they belong with just all the new defenders and new players that they had to bring in this year.
I mean, let's also not forget that Sunderland
is a good team.
Sunderland was in 3rd place 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
There's been so much change at the top of the Premier League that we forget that all of these teams playing in between 2nd and 10th are essentially top 4 material.
Without a doubt. Yeah. Sunderland currently sits 6th now after that win. But again, as a Bournemouth fan, you have to be a little displeased. They dominated possession, and we've talked about this at length, both you and I, and with Diego. When a team like Bournemouth, similar to the U.S. national team, when their opponent sits back and lets them have possession, they struggle to break it down. Obviously, they had 2 goals early. The penalty was, in my eyes, a little bit soft. I thought, he was already kind of on his way down before the contact, but it is what it is. I don't think it was so egregious of a call that, there's an issue there. Let's also give a shout out to Tyler Adams scoring from inside the midfield circle.
Yes. Yeah.
It was
good to see him get on the score sheet.
Yeah. That's his second in 4 or 5 games now after not scoring for 3 years.
He's waking up.
It is the longest distance goal so far in the Premier League this season, and it was a banger. Honestly, I didn't know he had that, in his toolbox, and 3 goals to come back from Sunderland.
Yeah, I mean, again, Bournemouth held control for most of the game. They played really well, but you just can't give Sunderland the chance to strike back. And
right.
We've seen it before.
Yeah,
we've seen it again,
they got burned by it. You're right. A tough one for Bournemouth. They now sit in 11th place. That being said, they're only 3 points out of 5th. So just like, I feel like we're just on a carousel here over and over and over again. But until these teams start to separate themselves from one another, that will kind of be the theme for what we say.
And again, we'll talk about it later on. But coming up, there's a big type of schedule where the top 10 are still playing each other.
Absolutely. So it's good to see that they're still kind of treading water. When the season started, I think I predicted them to be about 12th or 13th. I would love to be wrong, on the good side, and if they can compete for European play.
They do need to tweak their defense a little, because that's been 9 goals in the last 3 games they've allowed. I
believe they've conceded now 12 in their last 4.
Okay, yeah, they're now in the negative territory for goal differential.
Oh no, they were at -1 before this match, so they should be at -2, I believe. Let's see, so they have conceded 3 on Saturday. 2 last week to West Ham, 4 to Villa,
and 3
to City. So that's 12 in their last 4 matches. Certainly not what you'd like to see from really any team, but definitely not from this squad. So they currently are now on -2 goal differential. I believe they've conceded the most goals, or even with the most goals, other than really anyone from the bottom 5. So.
But again, just look at that. 15th to 5th is separated by 2 games.
Yeah, it really is just an incredible table right now. All right, let's move elsewhere. Man City hosting Leeds. Man City needed this game. It was in the balance for much of it. Again, Man City went up 2-0 early, and then they let Leeds United back into the game. And it got very close late. It was 2-2 until a Phil Foden goal in the 91st minute. So Foden scores in the first and 90th plus 1.
Yeah, you kind of saw the refs kind of giving City a little bit of a pillow with the plus 10.
Yeah, but this one was in the 91st, so there obviously is that as a factor. So with that, as again we've talked about it on and off, as poorly and as up and down as Man City's season is, they're currently in 2nd place, 5 points back of Arsenal.
But this again just goes to show you that anybody can keep up with them.
Oh,
you're talking about the 18th place almost drew a draw at City. Again, that top 2 spots, the 2nd and the 3rd place spot, have changed so much this season. It's ridiculous.
No, it absolutely is. I don't even know what.
Listen, next week we'll probably have another different 2-3.
Right.
It's crazy how this is going.
Speaking of teams that have been up and down, Liverpool. Isak gets on the score sheet, his first Premier League goal of the year. A big note on this one: Mo Salah did not start
first time,
which I had said maybe a month ago that maybe Salah is the odd man out from this current squad. They also have to factor in that
it's still West Ham, and they kind of needed that red card to put it away from West Ham, because again it was 1-0 going into that red card. But
and you also had you have Salah who they will be without him for African Cup of Nations coming up. So they need to get used to life without Salah either way, whether it's his national team commitment, whether it's his seemingly decline in ability. I heard one person, I think it was this morning, talking about last year was a contract year for him, so he played out of his mind. I'll
tell you, I thought he was going to retire. I thought he was out. I did not expect him to come back.
And the letdown after a year like that, it's natural. Whether it's say he was just playing for the money or whatever. When you do sign that long-term contract, that kind of sets you up both financially and logistically. that letdown is a natural thing to happen. So, I don't mean to imply that Mo Salah is just in it for the money, and that's that. But yeah, goals from Isak and Cody Gakpo. Gakpo's did come in stoppage time, like Naz alluded to, after the Lucas Paquetá second yellow.
Speaking of which, I don't know, he kind of went on a little bit of a rant.
Yeah.
He's basically saying that he's getting tired of just, I don't know if it's mental issues with him, but he feels like he's getting attacked by the Premier League.
Well, I will say, ever since the gambling probe, that went on, match fixing, et cetera, there's certainly something to be said for that.
Yeah.
But, you have to know that you're in the spotlight and you got to behave. So, I it's an interesting thing, but, again, like I said, that if you're I know West Ham is pretty low in the table. You're the star of that team right now. You know you're going to be in the spotlight. You have to behave a little bit better.
Yeah.
Especially with VAR, you're not going to get away with anything anymore anyway. Yeah. So, something off the ball, it's not in the cards. So, let's table things right here.
Yep.
We will take a quick break, and then we'll be back for our final Premier League match of the week to review. And then, we have La Liga action, we have Serie A. But of course, the match we are talking about and will talk about is Chelsea-Arsenal. So stay tuned, guys. All right, welcome back to A Soccer Fan Walks Into a Bar. I have Naz beside me. I'm Dave. We are back to talk the big match of the weekend, at least in the Premier League, Chelsea versus Arsenal. Second place hosting first place, a London derby. It had anything and everything you could imagine, and it certainly, for some things, did not disappoint. But holy cow, what an interesting. Right, I mean, interesting is the only way I can frame this conversation. Arsenal absolutely dominated possession. Obviously, that was aided by the Moises Caicedo horror tackle that he had on Mikel Merino. Honestly, Merino was lucky to walk away from that one. It looked just full momentum, caught him with the studs just above the ankle. It looked worse and worse every time I saw it. Absolutely, and even you could see. Surprisingly, they played a couple of replays at the stadium, which the reason it's surprising is this was a Chelsea home match, so they often don't do that. But even they cut to Maresca, and you could even see when he saw the replay, he knew it was a clear red. So that was that. But 10 minutes after going down a man, Trevor Chalobah scored for Chelsea to make it 1-0 at that time, and turned the game seemingly on its head. If there's one thing you can say about Chelsea this year, they are well prepared to play man down. I think they've gotten. I thought I heard a stat that they have 9 red cards across all competitions this year. This was their 4th in the Premier League. The next highest team has 2.
Yep.
So, they're just. Is it a discipline issue? We talked about this with Arteta. 2, 3, 4 years ago? Is Arteta creating an undisciplined atmosphere with Arsenal? But Chelsea is all over the place with these red cards, and some are, silly red cards.
There was a couple where they were lucky not to get another one.
Yeah.
I mean, however, it was a physical game. Arsenal got 6 yellows, which means they're going to get fined.
Right.
But it's still it was one of those games where the ref was very card happy, but it was also very physical in the fact that it needed to be card happy.
I think, and for my money, he was equally card happy. With, I think that's all most teams care about.
Yeah.
They understand that certain referees are going to hold things a little bit tighter. Some will be a little bit more loose. Some will have, certain types of plays or certain points of emphasis within the rules. But I think most players, all they care about is consistency throughout the game and between both teams. It's so tough We see it a lot in the MLS where they let everything go in the first half, and then it's like, oh shit, we better start cracking down on this, and then the second half is a totally different game, or vice versa, and it's just it creates a lot of uncertainty for these players, and they need that consistency between both teams and throughout the entirety of the match. So that being said, Mikel Merino did, after conceding or suffering the foul for that red card in the 59th minute, he did score the equalizer, and that's how things ended up. Despite the man down, despite Arsenal getting 62% possession, I thought, honestly, we had talked a little bit late yesterday that this is a good result, I think, for Arsenal.
I told you, I'll give you one stat that should stand out more than anything on this page right now. Unbeaten in 17.
Yeah.
Arsenal's last loss was to Liverpool, 1-0.
On that Szoboszlai, and even that it was a Szoboszlai free kick.
They are playing so well that the opponents are looking at draws as losses.
Yep.
And I already knew going into this game it was going to be hard because you got Arsenal's coming off of several injuries. They're coming off against they had the derby on Sunday. They had the Bayern Munich game on Wednesday. So they've played two of the largest games they're going to play, right? Because they have the most intensity when they play in the derby, and they were playing the top team in Europe currently. That was slated to be the top team in current Europe. And they came off two big wins. So I knew they were going to be tired going into Stamford Bridge, which is never an easy game.
Right.
I think last time we played there, it was a 2-2. It was a 2-2 draw with Fulham.
That actually kind of sounds
It's not an easy place for Arsenal to play. Chelsea are always going to be aggressive. I'll save this for any investigation that actually happens because it could just be rumors. There's talk about Arteta wanting to investigate Chelsea due to targeting, due to like the heavy tackles and trying to injure players. I don't know if it's true. I'll wait until.
I personally am not buying it.
Yeah.
But I'm sure whether it's PGMOL or there is I'm sure there's some sort of office at the league that is in charge of exactly things like that.
Correct. But other than that, it was a game that was played. Arsenal will rue the fact that they did have several chances in front of goal to take the lead. But again, as I said going into it, it was going to be a 1-1 draw with a full 11-on-11.
Yep.
If they had walked away with the win, I would have been more surprised. But the 1-1, I don't care if they were man down or man up.
And on the good side of things, you had Odegaard and Gyökeres.
Again, two guys coming
but they got back onto the field.
Yes.
Gabi Jesus was named to the bench. He did not appear at all. Correct. But again, they're starting to get these players back.
The other issue was Saliba, literally moments before the game, was scrapped from the lineup because of a tweak that he felt in his leg. He wasn't good for the game. We'll see if he plays on Wednesday. But again, you had Mosquera and Hinkeby in their first ever team up. This is their first ever team up.
I saw somewhere. First of all, I think between the two of them, they were saying they have 3 Premier League starts.
Yes, but not together.
Right.
They've never played a full game together.
This was the first time. I don't recall the stat, and I should have looked it up. But I think they said something like in 150 or so matches that neither Gabriel or Saliba have started at center back for Arsenal.
Yep. And you hate
and
to
it's
think
funny though, all the injuries they've had over the years, to go that long with at least one of them playing is one shows how essential they are to Arsenal, but also how
I was at the game. I was at the Europa game where Saliba injured his leg and was out the whole season. It was crazy, but it's Arsenal, right? I'm expecting injuries because they play with a lot of heart. They play heavy. It's just what happens. But I don't know. I told you that their season was going to depend on the last 3 games. They beat Tottenham, they beat Bayern, they tied Chelsea, and now we look into, I don't want to say an easier one, but something that Arsenal are now expected to win, not hoping to win.
Yep. So, all right. On that note, let's jump over to the continent, and we have La Liga to talk about. Barcelona did pick up a victory, but maybe more importantly, Girona won, Real Madrid won. And Girona was up early, actually up just at halftime. A Kylian Mbappe penalty. The foul was drawn by Vinny Jr. And statistically, Madrid dominated, as many would have expected. They had 24 shots.
And only one on goal.
60% possession. But with this result, with the draw, as much as we've talked about, Barcelona and their struggles, they currently lead the league. Granted, only by a point, but Barcelona on 34, Real Madrid on 33, and surprisingly, Villarreal, the Yellow Submarine, on 32 points, and Atletico Madrid at 31. So the top four kind of set themselves apart. The next best team is on 24, so 7 points back. But, you talked about it, in the past, about La Liga, and it's always a two-horse race. Right now, there are 4 teams realistically in contention. I do think Villarreal eventually will fall off a bit.
And I'll admit I was wrong. Yeah. I'll admit I was wrong if one of those wins. But as of right now, Barcelona moving into the front. Ooh, okay, cool, yeah.
So they have again, this is Hansi Flick's style of play, but they have 39 goals from 14 matches.
And they couldn't put a single one against Chelsea?
I know. 10 more goals than both Madrid and Villarreal, who are joint second in goals for. So
I don't know. They play in La Liga. I don't know. Like you got heavy attacking lineups. You expect to score that kind of way.
But Barcelona also with that high line that they play, and we saw it. A lot of Premier League fans probably saw it firsthand with that Chelsea match. Despite the man down, they were still playing that high line. And for games like that, it'll come back to bite them in the butt. Elsewhere, we had first place Roma hosting third place Napoli, and a surprising result in my eyes. David Neres' goal was the only goal in this match. Napoli goes to Rome, takes the 1-0 victory.
I mean, you essentially had an unstoppable force meeting and movable.
Right.
Roma had the best defense. Napoli has the best offense. Yep. Something had to break. Obviously, it was Roma's defense.
Yes. It actually is, quite humorous to me. So after 12 matches, Roma was top of the table with 15 goals scored.
Yep. 7 goals against.
All right. But just to be leading the league with 15 after 12.
I mean, I think Arsenal has 19.
Goals scored?
Yeah, I think don't they only have 19?
Oh, I don't know. You're the Arsenal expert.
25.
25.
Okay.
But yeah, so Roma losing at home drops them to now 4th place. And again, we talk about another tight table. But with that result combined with AC Milan winning on the weekend,
only 1 point separating first and
AC
fourth.
Milan on goal difference is in first place. So Milan and Napoli both on 28. Inter and Roma both on 24. Surprising Como and Bologna on 20. Inter and Roma on 27. Como and Bologna on 24. And Juve in 7th place right now on 23 points. They are struggling and if they don't make Europe, I think Juventus will have a mass exodus of players, of staff members, the whole nine. This is a lean time for Juve, to try to get back in the top of the table into the European spots, with a resurgent league here over the last few years with Atalanta, with now Roma, with Como, with Bologna.
I mean, but you can also see Atlanta's having their rough
Atalanta.
It's not.
Atalanta, I think, obviously you had Gasperini leaving, to go to Roma. But, over the years, they have just continually been plucked of some of their top players, with their, great play over the last few years. Really, since 2020, they have been a revelation in the league, bringing attacking football to Serie A, which is, basically unheard of. And it went to great effect. Yeah. And now, like we said, kind of like with Girona the last couple of years, they are just getting picked apart in terms of players and personnel. And they're struggling right now in 12th place. So, thoughts on the Serie A table, with how tight it is and what it,
I mean, it's still early, but I mean, again, you got 1 point separating first from fourth.
Yeah,
I think it's something that I've told you I enjoy it when it's more closer.
Oh, of course,
there's a battle. I don't like it when it's like the two teams that are expected to. It's not it's not Milan Juventus for the millionth time, you know. Or Milan Inter Juventus.
Yeah.
It's, you know, you've got Milan on top who haven't played as their best the last couple seasons. You have Napoli follow behind, who have been the top lately. You know, I mean, they obviously lost to PSG. Inter lost to PSG. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Who's you know, Inter's also in the mix despite having they had a great season last season. But
I will say, so in the last few years, you had Juve win, I think 7 or 8 titles in a row,
and that's when I'm like,
But after that, really, since since COVID, you had a 4-year span where 4 different teams won Serie A,
which is nice to see.
Yeah, so you had Juventus win in the 1920 season. You had Inter win in 2021. You had Milan with Stefano Pioli managing in 21-22. Then you had Napoli win behind 26 goals from Victor Osimhen, and then the last 2 have been Inter and Napoli again. But to see that mix of, you know, because like you said, you know, and I'm a fan of Milan, so, you know, over the last, 20 years, you had 3 champions, basically, Juve, Inter, and Milan.
Yes, correct.
So now to see,
Napoli
Inter getting in it, Napoli getting in it, Como, Bologna, will they actually win it? Almost definitely not, but to see those other teams, at least in the running this far into the season, is a welcome change, in my opinion. So
I feel like, and this is just a personal opinion, I feel like when the table's like that, it's healthy for fans that are new to the table.
Listen,
because it gives them multiple choices of saying, who do I want to root for, right? If I said, hey, go watch La Liga, no offense to La Liga again, but if I say go watch La Liga, the person's gonna be like, all right, Barcelona or Real Madrid, who am I following? And it's like, oh.
Right. I mean, just look at, what we were, and I
look at the Premier League table. You said you walked into a school one time. You saw a kid wearing a Bournemouth jersey. And he's like, how do you know Bournemouth? And it's like, listen, kid.
I was there.
I've been where you were.
But and you look, go back 2 years and we all became Bayer Leverkusen fans. But, so to see these, or you think back to Leicester, you see these surprising runs and more new teams at the top of the table. And
it makes for a healthy fan.
Absolutely. So, all right, that is...
Speaking of healthy fans.
Yes, speaking of health. So that's going to do it for our week abroad. We actually have 2 separate ads right now. We're going to show one of our first in-house ads.
Yes. So for those of you watching, while Dave gets prepared for this ad, this Friday, here at the Newberg Brewing Co., they are doing a World Cup draw live in the tap room at 10 a.m. And Dave has put together with Diego a little ad here.
Oh, yeah, a little commercial that's on our social medias. But here it is for you guys first and up front. All right, welcome back to A Soccer Fan Walks Into a Bar. I hope you enjoyed Diego and my commercial, as well as your quick little rest there for our normal commercial break. We are back here, 100 miles to home, and we are all set for MLS Cup final. But before we...
This is the most MLS I've watched in my life.
You're welcome. Before we talk about that, we do have the conference finals to talk about, which if you're not familiar with MLS and their format, it's akin to a cup semifinal. So on the East, it was Inter Miami hosting New York City Football Club, and it was not a great start from New York City. Tadeo Allende scored twice in the first 25 minutes. Things were shaky from there, although a Justin Hack goal in the 37th minute to bring it to 2-1. And there were some chances beyond that for NYCFC. They went into half at 2-1. Things were, I don't want to say looking confident for New York, but you could see a way out of this for them. You could see them getting a goal and maybe taking it to extra time.
I want to agree with you, but from where I was sitting, Miami felt like they were on cruise control. Like it just... Anytime they touched the ball, it was a threat, and there was nothing that New York could try to do to stop.
There were a couple chances still in the first half, right after the goal to make it 2-1, that I think if NYCFC buries one of them,
changes the game.
That changes the whole complexion. That being said, Miami, played nearly flawlessly throughout the rest of the match. They took advantage of a lot of mistakes and fatigue and missing players from NYCFC.
Yep.
Allende wound up scoring a third to make it a hat trick for him, and it was a 5-1 final for Miami, their first MLS Cup appearance. And it's no goals from Messi. I guess we can chalk that up as a success.
He didn't need him.
No, yeah.
Allende took control.
And you almost,
even when Suarez came on, he did the backflip to Allende.
Yep.
Like, you didn't need him.
Yeah,
he was being marked throughout the match.
Right. I was going to say, you almost wonder if they put too much. I can't believe I'm saying this, but too much focus on stopping Messi and allowing other players to get in for goals. That being said, out west, number 1 San Diego hosting Vancouver Whitecaps, and 3-1 Vancouver away from home, and maybe not the LA Miami star power that we all I don't say we because I wanted NYCFC, but that a lot of the fans wanted in terms of a final. But Thomas Mueller and Sebastian Berhalter, chugging along with this Vancouver midfield, will travel to Fort Lauderdale now in the MLS Cup final to play Miami. What do we say about this final? It's
I don't know. People want to lean toward Miami, but I can't. I don't know. After seeing Vancouver be able to take the entire onslaught of LAFC over the course of 45 minutes, not just the 30 minutes of extra time, but 45 minutes of being a man down.
Yeah.
To be able to take that onslaught and then still walk away with a 3-1 victory in the next game, I think they're going to be able to take it to Miami. I don't know. I don't know. As much as people want to hand Miami the trophy and be like, here you go, like, good job, cruising through the playoffs. Like, I think Vancouver's going to give them a problem.
No, these are the kinds of matchups that you see that you don't expect to maybe be so great on paper.
Has Vancouver won before?
No.
So this will be a whole new MLS champion no matter what. Okay.
If of the final 4, NYCFC is the only team that had ever even been in an MLS Cup. So San Diego this is their first year, so obviously they're they've never been in it. Vancouver has never been in a cup, and Miami has never.
It's always interesting to see teams like I don't know if it's just a. I don't know if it's a culmination of U.S. sports, but to see teams being able to make it to finals in their first season, it's kind of strange when you think about it.
We saw it with Vegas Golden Knights recently in the NHL.
Yeah. Which, they didn't win it, but they did go on to win one a few years later, which was nice.
St. Louis City. Yeah. They didn't, get to a cup, but they had a great first year and then have kind of fallen off since then. Obviously now San Diego. But yeah, no, it's interesting to see, and I will somewhat alter my previous statement about Miami. I think, and I'm talking, of course, about me saying without an MLS Cup championship, I think on field it's the Messi tenure would be a failure. I think I would temper that a little bit now that they've made the cup.
They've made the cup. Okay.
I still think,
I'm also I'm a little weirded back and prove me if I'm wrong, but I'm also a little weirded back by the cup celebrations after the conference final.
Yeah.
I never I understand that okay, you won the Eastern Conference, but you're celebrating. Doesn't that kind of take an edge off going into the final match?
Yeah. Yes and no.
You kind of you feel like you got something out of it, and you're just like, oh, going into the next match.
Yeah. Yes and no. I would put that akin to. I know it's not apples to apples, but you're in a FA Cup semifinal and you win.
Yeah, but you don't get a celebration trophy. You don't get a thing to put in your trophy cabinet.
There's no trophy, but
the Eastern Conference final trophy goes in your trophy cabinet.
There is a celebration, but you're right. There's no trophy, or maybe more akin. You're in the championship playoff and you win those semifinals. So now you're playing in that championship playoff final, to get to the Premier League. Again, it's not apples to apples. There's no proper trophy handed out, correct. But there's absolutely celebrations throughout the crowd and on the field. So I will say you're not wrong. I will say
there's still confetti, there's still fans cheering. You're wearing the hats, you're wearing the t-shirts.
It's still a celebratory event. So that being said, I'm sure we'll talk about it a bit on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
But initial reactions and initial predictions, do you have any for Vancouver, Miami?
I mean, I can't bet against Miami.
Yeah.
They've just been playing so good. I mean, getting what's that? 5 goals in both of the last 2 matches.
Yeah.
You can't bet against them.
I am not, obviously we're on record here as not being, sports bettors and playing the odds or anything. I would be extremely curious to see what the odds are for Vancouver in this match.
Listen, I know we're not betting on them, but I got mad when when they scored that
Yeah.
4th goal. I'm like, no,
needed that result.
I needed 5 points in my predictions. I had 5 points in my hand, and you took it from me.
So and here, this is my problem. So I go to log on, I Google MLS Cup betting odds.
Yeah.
The first thing that comes up is from the league itself, sponsored by DraftKings. This is
Audi odds.
Yeah.
The MLS soccer staff.
Oh, this is from the beginning of the season.
Okay.
Or no, this is from October. I want
Live
yeah,
bets.
There we go. Let's see. And I wonder if it'll even.
There you go.
So Miami is negative 135, and Vancouver is plus 260.
For betting people, please tell me what that means, because I have no idea.
That I believe that means
Why is it in the hundreds?
because I think it's you have to. So for Miami, you'd have to bet
135 to get 100.
$135 to get 100,
okay.
and then you bet 100 on Vancouver to get 260.
Okay.
I believe. Again, that shows you how little I know about betting. I was looking for like 3-1 or 5-1.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking,
what I know.
what's the percentage to win? Not the.
But speaking of that match in the future, let's jump right over to what's on tap. And what a week this is going to be. Obviously, if you're in the Northeast or specifically the Hudson Valley, you're likely to probably have a snow day tomorrow, so that might throw everything into a little bit of a loop. In fact, it might mess a little bit with some of our match days upstairs.
The amount of times I heard my coworkers say the amount of snow we're supposed to get tomorrow, and it was like anything from like 5 to 8 to 1 to 3 with rain afterwards. And I'm like, listen, just say it's gonna snow tomorrow,
yeah.
And if you make it in, you make it in. If you don't, you
the
don't.
latest I'm hearing is our area we're slated for 3 to 6 inches, but rainy also, and that's just more so.
For what I heard by the airport, it's 1 to 3, and then the rain's gonna melt it.
So
that's what I heard.
That was the initial thought, but I think now it's going to get. It's much colder than they thought it was going to be, so it's going to turn icy, and the roads will be a mess. So
we shall see.
Anyway, Tuesday, December 2nd, starting at 2:30 p.m., weather permitting, if the tap room is open, we will have both of these games on upstairs. But it's a midweek Premier League match day. AFC Bournemouth hosting Everton, as well as Fulham, Man City. Two games that are I don't want to say must win, but this midweek is first of all, to be able to grab 6 points in, a 5-day period, with also having Premier League matches on the weekend could be huge, in a short span. But Bournemouth needs to get a win here against Everton, in my opinion. They've been struggling. They're leaking goals all over the place. They're back in front of their home fans. That's a vitality. And Everton has been very up and down.
Yep.
Can they grab all 3 points from the Toffees here? Time will tell. Fulham for years has kind of been up and down in terms of their relationship to Man City. They've always kind of been a bogey team for Man City. They are.
Listen, they beat Liverpool 2-1. Was that it, or was it Man? Who did they just beat 2-1?
Let's bring up Fulham results. They beat Tottenham. Well, everyone beats Tottenham. So doubleheader there, and then also on Tuesday, Barcelona playing Atletico Madrid in DFB Pokal, the German Cup. Borussia Dortmund with a rematch of their match on the weekend with Bayer Leverkusen. This time it's at Dortmund at Signal Iduna Stadium. Then Wednesday, the 3rd at 1 p.m., Athletic Bilbao facing Real Madrid. So this midweek match, despite it not being a Champions League week, now that we're in the festive season and some countries take winter breaks and this and that, so they try to kind of pack the schedule in a little bit. Great midweek matches there. And then Friday, 10 a.m., the big one for us, our World Cup draw party with K104. We have scarves to the first 100 fans that are in attendance. We have official World Cup soccer balls to give away.
Yes.
We'll have wear a jersey. You have happy hour specials, the whole 9. Bagels, complimentary. It's going to be a great day.
Yeah, I took off.
And Nas will be there. I'll be here. Diego,
I think he'll be here. I think he'll be here.
Health permitting. And then that rolls right into the weekend with, again, a pair of 10 a.m. matches on Saturday. A big one for Nas is Bournemouth hosting Chelsea. He really needs Chelsea to drop points here.
I'll be a Bournemouth fan again.
Yeah, and a Sunderland fan.
I'm a Sunderland fan,
because Sunderland travels to the Etihad to play Manchester City, also at 10 a.m. 12:30 p.m., Inter Milan facing, we talked about them earlier,
Como.
surprise upstart Como.
And Cesc Fabregas.
Yes, Cesc Fabregas
taking them to heights.
Incredible job there. What do you... Inter needs this match. Again, obviously, there's other results that they'll have to...
I don't know much about Como. Like, in my opinion, and what I know, Inter Milan should win.
They should.
But with the way Como's been playing, you never know.
Yeah,
they're upstarts.
This could, again, depending on all the other results, this could throw a little bit of upheaval for Inter Milan, and Como could not be that 4th team in the race as opposed to Inter. Speaking of Inter, also on Saturday, 2:30 p.m., Inter Miami hosting Vancouver Whitecaps in the MLS Cup Final. That match will be on in the tap room. We are waiting to see if we can get it on the big screen versus an auxiliary TV. Obviously, it's also college football championship week, so we have some moving parts there with that. We're gonna, listen. Selfishly, I would put it in one place and one place only, but we have to give the people what they want. So after that, also on Saturday, Athletic Club hosting Atletico Madrid. Another interesting matchup there. Rolling into Sunday, 9 a.m., we will be here for Brighton hosting West Ham. And again, just like we talked about with Bournemouth, with Chelsea, with Arsenal, this is a huge week to potentially pick up 6 points. Brighton with somewhat struggling West Ham here. They got the doors blown off by Liverpool, although it took a double yellow. But their results have been all over the place. Brighton, with that come-from-behind victory on the weekend, if they can start piling up points, they're right back in the European race as well. And then we close out
they're in 5th.
I know.
They could be in the 2nd place race. You never know.
We close out our Sunday. I'll be watching this. I cannot guarantee that we'll have it on the tap room or at least on the big screen. We'll probably have it on an auxiliary TV. Napoli hosting Juventus, and I mean, there's so many matches I want to watch. I don't know where I'm going to find all the time, although I'm sure I'll manage. Obviously you'll be tuned into Arsenal stuff as well, but which of these matches do you kind of pick out and of interest?
I mean, obviously the final Inter Miami Vancouver is going to be the one. Bournemouth Chelsea is going to be fun to watch. That came up on your end. I can't delete that guy. Then you got, Barcelona Atletico, because again, you've got Barcelona only sitting 3 points ahead of them.
Yeah,
like it's a tough match there. Yeah, I mean it's jam packed with action. I mean you listed all these games, and there's still a ton of others that are going on at the same time.
Yeah,
these are just some of the top ones going on right now.
Obviously, as I am a big Serie A fan, so I'm interested. I hope AC Milan wins the league, but I love seeing Como, as an up and comer. So I will be tuned into that Inter Como match.
Next Monday you have United Bournemouth.
Yeah, no,
that we can't. I mean, we don't really show it here because actually we don't normally go over the Monday games on Saturday morning.
No.
You have another Bournemouth game.
To be fair, the last I think 4 or 5 weeks there have not been any Monday matches.
Yeah.
So now that we're doing that, we'll get back into it. We are talking about maybe streaming that one as a watch along, and then roll right into.
Might take off a couple hours to come in and see it.
And then we roll right into our Monday show. A soccer fan walks into a bar, so could be perfect. But yeah, Inter Milan and Como, I am very excited to kind of keep an eye on, in addition to all the Bournemouth and AC Milan matches and everything else we've got going on here. One for the road, Naz. What do you got?
AEK defeats Athenian rivals Panathinaikos 3-2 over the weekend. Yeah.
You might have to start up a spin-off show just for the Greek League.
Just from the Greek League, yeah.
I'm sure we can.
It was nice actually being able to watch an AEK game for the first time in a while. It was on Paramount Plus.
Oh, it is on
the Conference League.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, it was Fiorentina. Fiorentina did score 2 goals that got called back, both because of extreme offsides.
Yep.
But AEK did end up taking it 1-0.
Is there is there any streaming service available in the U.S. for the Greek League? No.
No, you got to get a Greek TV. You have to have it on cable
with a VPN or some kind of All right. Well, my one for the road. This is a topic that we've kind of touched on here and there. We talked a lot about it with the Club World Cup over the summer. Mental health of these players. Erling Haaland has spoken about it. Kevin De Bruyne has been very outspoken over the last few years about it. Phil Foden's dealt with it.
Oh man, a lot of Man City players showing about their mental health.
But
must be hard to win 5 years in a row.
Honestly, but you're playing 60, 70, 80 matches a year. Every 3 days, you're expected to be at the top every time. It does wear on you.
Listen, I understand how, again, it is sports. You do play at a higher level. You do have a lot more stress on you.
Right.
My thing is just that at the amount that these players make, the money does help relieve a lot of that stress. Because imagine, you're going to take a mental health break. Cool. What are you going to do? You're going to go take a 2-week vacation to the Bahamas or something.
Yeah, I mean,
as opposed to someone like you and I.
I'll go to the Bahamas. Why not?
Listen, that's the thing. As opposed to you and I, if we have to take a mental health break, it's most likely on our couch.
That being said, Barcelona has granted Ronald Araujo a mental health break amid his struggles, and obviously, you hope he plays, but it is good to see that a player like that, is able to
admit that there's something going on.
There's something going on, and to have the club acknowledge and try to put something in place for him to overcome that.
Yeah.
So I applaud Barcelona for doing that. They've messed up a lot of things over the years with their management, but I am happy to see that the club.
I see they've reined him all in a little bit.
Yes,
that's nice to see.
Well, he's also getting older now. He's
getting older. 21.
Yeah. No, what is he? 19 now. So there's certainly that aspect of it, and that is just about going to do it for us. Before we close out, we are going to play our World Cup draw party commercial one last time, and we will be done right after that. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. Catch us here on Twitch, on Spotify, and Apple Podcasts for A Soccer Fan Walks Into a Bar. Follow our socials, Instagram, Facebook. Jump into the Discord. If you have any requests for matches or questions for us for the show, you can catch our email is cdunewburg@gmail.com. www.cdunewburg.com is our website. We will be, I say it every week, but continuing to flesh that out and with more content and things for you to explore. So thank you guys so much, and we will see you Saturday morning for the pour over. Cheers, guys.
¿Qué pasa, mi gente?
What's up, everyone? This is Dave.
Y Diego de CDU Newburgh.
We want to tell you all about our World Cup draw party live at Newburgh Brewing Company on Friday, December 5th, kicking off at 10 a.m.
Queremos contarles acerca de la fiesta del sorteo de la Copa Mundial que va a tener lugar aquí el viernes 5 de diciembre a las 10 de la mañana.
We'll have bagels and beers ready to go, a live radio show with Scotty Mack and K104, and giveaways for official World Cup soccer balls.
Tenemos bagels y cervezas. Además, nos acompaña Scotty Mack y K104 en un show en vivo Además de eso, vamos a sortear bolas oficiales de la Copa del Mundo.
And don't forget to wear your favorite soccer jersey. Special happy hour menus for anyone wearing a kit.
No se les olvide usar la camiseta de su equipo favorito. Tenemos un menú especial para todos aquellos que usen camisetas de fútbol.
Again, come and join us on December 5th at 10 a.m. for our World Cup draw party. We'll see you then.
Únete a nosotros el 5 de diciembre a las 10 de la mañana para una gran fiesta de la Copa Mundial. Nos vemos.